and it's just, it goes on and on and on. And people support politicians like this. And honestly, it's this kind of stuff that makes people relate the right to Hitler. These type of beliefs where it's like, you got nothing to hide, you should love America and you should do this. It's this exact train of thought that scares people. It's this exact train of thought that makes people think it's the right-wingers that are closer to Hitler. And that's terrifying, because it's the left wing that is hell-bent on controlling a country. It is the left wing that wants bigger government and less freedom. But some people in the right wing, just some of them, a small fascist amount, just a small, tiny number that are dumbasses. And it's that small, tiny, dumbass number that makes the rest of us look like dumbasses sometimes. Whether libertarians well-versed in political philosophy, conservative Republicans who don't have an ounce of disrespect for anybody and don't want to infringe on the rights of anybody. You've got your staunch constitutional people that look like dumbasses because of people like this. Because these people come out and saying that they have to grovel, that they have to do things because of their faith, grouping people based on their religion, stereotyping them. And they agree. One lady, good for her, I totally agree. I support her 100% on this, which is another reason I voted for her. It's so disheartening to see so many Americans that think 1.6 billion of these people on planet Earth, 1.6 billion people on planet Earth, think that those people, that large number, that huge population, should be perfectly fine with pledging allegiance to America on command because of their faith. That Muslims, because of their religion, should have some sort of extra special requirements. And it's really just disgusting to see so many people be so bigoted. It hurts the heart and it's bad for the soul to see so many fellow Americans that are okay and absolutely fine with Americans being oppressed like this. I don't understand. I don't understand. America is one of the greatest countries in the world, and I absolutely believe it has the opportunity to be the greatest. I absolutely believe that America could be the most fantastic country on planet Earth. If they embraced freedom more fully. If Americans would stop worrying about people based on their faith. If they would stop looking at things and think it's okay to stereotype, it's okay to be bigoted, it's okay to pick people out and make extra requirements based on their religion. That it's okay to refuse benefit of the doubt, innocent until proven guilty, and expect someone to apologize on behalf of their religion. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And I'm tired of it. And I hope that when you folks see it out there, you'll do as I do and call it out and renounce it and tell those people they're wrong and they need to stop. But that's anti-freedom, and that's not what America stands for. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Larry O'Connor from WMAL in Washington, D.C., and you're listening to Vigilant Liberty Radio.
Little quick break there. Separate out everything a little bit for you. Now, as we get closer to 2016, as we get into 2015 here, we're going to be spending a lot of time this year getting into presidential elections. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be tough, and I don't mean that in the sense of beating the Democrats, which it will be, but I mean it's going to be tough beating ourselves. I think it's going to be tough for libertarians. It'll be tough because their party won't win. And for those of us who are independents and vote Republican, it's going to be tough because we are up against fierce establishment competition that has already started. The media has already dubbed Chris Christie, Mitt Romney, and Jeb Bush as the anointed ones. Absolutely they have. And honestly, they're leaning away from Chris Christie a little bit. I think it's a bigger chance of Mitt Romney, Jeb Bush, and God forbid if they get on the same ticket. If they get on the same ticket, Lord help us all. If you're not religious, science help us. But it's looking more and more and more like that's exactly what's going to happen. And when you look at a lot of the comments that people have, when you look at a lot of the polls, anybody that stands a chance of being a good president has a very long shot chance of getting in, has no guarantee, has their work cut out for them. And it's not a fun position to be in if you're an American who's paying attention and isn't a bigot or a moron. Because if we look at Jeb Bush and we look at Mitt Romney keeps trying to remake himself into somebody else. Keeps trying to remake himself into this moderate, authentic, nice guy. And in reality, we keep getting this same flaky, flip-floppy, magical underwear dipshit. I mean, even if you know nothing else about the guy, nothing else, let's erase everything else that we know about him, wipe it all out, and let's just tell the story about how he strapped his dog to the roof of his vehicle for 4 hours in the northern United States. Just based on that fact alone, that he cared so little about his dog, his pet, his companion, that he strapped it to the roof of a moving car, just that alone is enough to make me think he should never, ever hold office for any reason. Now, you could be one of those people who's like, oh, it's just a dog, and treat it like you would a book you can set aside when you're not wanting to read it, or like a movie that you can just turn off and put on the shelf when you're not using it. But I am not one of those people. I take owning a pet very seriously. I own a dog. You've heard her bark in previous episodes. But it's something very personal to me. It's something I take very serious, and I take very good care of my companion. And the thought of strapping her to the top of a car in frigid temperatures for 4 hours puts my guts in knots. And the thought of somebody else doing it to an animal makes me want to pull my hair out. And the fact that that person wants to run the country terrifies me. Because what is to stop that guy from strapping America to the roof and driving wherever the hell he wants to go? I can tell you, the thing stopping that guy is the American voter. Because he didn't get there last time. And he's not going to get there next time. God willing. God willing, he's not going to get there this time. I am not a fan of Mitt Romney. I am that guy's least favorite person. I am not a fan. And that being said, I was in favor of him over Obama, but only because a big government Republican is always better, generally speaking, than a big government Democrat. Because at least with the Republican, they are better for the economy. They're not better at debt. They're not better at bureaucracy and government size, but they are generally they are better for the economy. Because they know to cut taxes, do not raise them. It's that simple. Democrats don't know that, and that's when you get anemic recoveries. That's when you get millions of Americans unable to get to work, unable to find a job, dropping out of the workforce and deflating the unemployment numbers artificially. That's a Democrat curse. But with Jeb Bush and Mitt Romney, you have a higher chance of seeing war again. You've got a higher chance of big government bureaucracy sticking around. For example, Jeb Bush supports Common Core. That alone is enough of a reason to dismiss that man. He supports Common Core. Common Core teaches your children that America is not a free country, that your freedoms need to be restricted. And that's just one example. They teach that the Founding Fathers were terrorists. They don't even teach math properly. Common Core is more interested in social indoctrination, in teaching people about social justice, and not in the sense that justice is actually involved. It's more concerned with revisionist history. It's more concerned with changing the context in which the Constitution's Bill of Rights was written. It's more interested in helping to breed, to brainwash, to create an entire generation of Americans who know nothing about freedom and want nothing to do with it. An entire generation unwilling and unable to fulfill their duty as Americans to protect freedom, to stand up for what is right, and to refuse a tyrannical government. And that's Common Core in fact, in practice, not in opinion. In opinion, you could talk about how test scores may go up. You could talk about how a uniform education standard improves college performance. But in the end, you still end up with an unthinking, ill-feeling, indefensible populace that could be grabbed